Hello, and welcome to my craft room. My name is Sue, and today's project is going to be another version of a sympathy card. This time it will be more of a masculine card, and I will be using colored pencils. Here is the panels that I made. I made this panel before on a previous video, which I'll link down below. I just ink blended that. And then I'm using from Gina has some prickly pear. This is for making more of a masculine sympathy card. The last two sympathy cards I made had flowers on them, but sometimes you have to make it a little bit more masculine for somebody. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Then I also have her stamp set called Time to Coast, and it has more backgrounds for, doesn't have flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and use the seagulls and the pillars, and I'll go ahead and color those with my markers. So let's get in, and they'll just fit on here. I'm going to go ahead and use markers, use my, pencils, colored pencils, the Prismacolor pencils. So for this, since I'm going to do that, I just stamp the image out in Memento, and I have rich cocoa. I guess any brown you want to use, but I'm going to go ahead and, because then I don't have to fill in all the colors for the pillars, they're already brown. I have swatched out all the pencils that I have, so I'll be picking the colors based on my swatches. So with that, the first three colors I have are light umber, because I'm going to go light, medium, dark. So I have light umber, dark brown, and the 70% warm gray. Color pencils I'm not familiar with using. I just know you start off real light touch, then a little bit darker touch. Takes a lot of layers to get the color. Now I am using, was it Nina's Solar 80? So it's probably a better paper. This is what I have. What's nice about the stamp set, it's already there. You don't have to color much to get the effect. I'm glad you can join me today as I do this. It's nice to have company in here when I'm coloring. Sometimes the room gets pretty quiet. So I appreciate all of you that have joined. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe so you can get notifications of my next videos. I'm going to try this year to have a lot more. So you can see the difference between that pillar and the ones that aren't colored. I'll start over here again on this one. With colored pencils, they say start off real light and then get darker and darker. So if you notice, I hold my pencils very tight. So for these, I'm really trying to loosen the tension by going way up on the pencil so that I get that light effect. But when I write, I'm way down here. So let's get the layers on. Come in with the darker, the darker brown. If you're new to using pencils, one thing I heard from, I believe it's Color My World, and she's a great teacher for coloring pencils, for videos on coloring with Prismacolor pencils. She says if the more you practice, if your hand's not hurting, you're not coloring enough. And that seems just so true because it's a muscle that we're not used to using. The band, I picked marine green and I'm not doing any shading on this. I'm just going to fill it in, and then I'll go in with black. Just color in the little dots, nothing fancy. You can see even just a little bit of coloring with the stamp just adds so much to the image. For the water, I picked Copenhagen blue, cobalt blue, and true blue. And when you go through the swatch, I'm not sure if there's a numbering system, but they kind of like go cobalt, Copenhagen, and blue. So I kind of went down the line, being cobalt blue being the darkest. So I want darkest cobalt blue to be where it's closest to the pillars, where it will be the darkest, and then I'll extend out. Now this is one of those that I believe probably a lot easier to do it with the markers, because it would fill up the space a lot quicker. I just have to do a little note here. My husband is cooking a pot roast in the oven, and it's permeating through the house, and it's a wonderful smell. Just like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. So I'm just going to go out to the next marks. I'll put the dark back around this one too. Oh, he's got such a good recipe for the pot roast. It just cooks in the oven for like 4 hours. Just smells so good. Carrots and potatoes, so I don't even have to make a side dish. It's already all in one. I kind of help. And for the two of us, it's nice because the pot roast will last the whole weekend, so we don't have to worry about cooking. So that kind of brings out that, and then I'll go in with the true blue. Now I probably, since I'll be cutting this out, some of this is going to get lost. For the seagulls, I want to kind of tie in a little bit of the color that I did here. I think this is Gina sweet corn. So I kind of want to bring in a little bit of a yellow that's lighter than my brown that I did, which was the light umber. So I picked an eggshell, 20% French gray, and 50% French gray. I don't know if I need all those colors because it's a small image, but I wanted to at least. So pigeons, seagulls have so many different colors, from grays to white. So I'm just putting the white cream as the base. I think I'd like it to be a little bit more gray. So I have a 50% cool gray, gray and brown. I'll leave the tops of the heads cream. Do the body in a cool gray. Kind of blue. Oh, look at, that's what happens with these pencils. You get them too sharp and then they bust. They're just wax. All right. Oh, good thing I was done. Finish up with that color. Oh, that's one thing I have troubles with. So I'll go in with the gray again. Yeah. I think that'll do it, because I think once I cut it out, I'm going to use a little sympathy greeting. And I think that picks up all those colors that I could put it on there. So that's it for today's card. So how I finished it is I used Waffle Flowers nesting ovals, and I cut out the base, and the background is also with prickly pear background to match that. I adhered both of these with the Gina K Thermoweb tape. The stamp with sympathy comes in the set, and then I adhered it to some ivory cardstock instead of white. So that is my sympathy card for more of a masculine flavor than the flowers that I have done before. So here's the other three, and I'll link these videos down below. So here's the 3 sympathies cards that I did, all a little different. And like I said, I'll link the videos from these to the end of this video. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.